The Chef Ann Foundation's Hero Highlights, Stories from the Field, is presented by Danone North America. To ensure the incredible stories of our school food workers are being told, we're sharing stories from the field as school food teams tackle food insecurity due to widespread closures amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we are joined by Shannon Ebron, Director of Child Nutrition at Riverview Gardens School District in St. Louis, Missouri. Shannon's story sheds light on what it's like to transition to a new district in the midst of a global pandemic and national racial equity movement.
Shannon, could you just give an intro about yourself just to start us off?
Shannon Ebron, I am a registered dietitian. I'm the newly appointed director at Riverview Gardens School District in St. Louis, Missouri.
Awesome. Why did you originally get into school food, and what drives your passion to keep going?
So I was exposed to school food as a dietetic student. I had a practicum that I had to do in food management, and I didn't get to pick my assignment. They put me at a school district, and it was actually the first year, or like the intro year, of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. So I got to work alongside a school food service team and closely with the director. I went to like my first USDA food show, sat in on the round tables with all the directors. They were like freaking out about, the whole grains and the legume requirement. And that was my first exposure. And I was there for like a semester, like my whole spring semester. So I did everything from washing dishes to accepting an order. I had the opportunity to do a taste test with students and to try out a new hummus recipe. Cashiering. I even did like a catering event. I had my hands in everything. And I was like, okay, I can do this. So I just really liked it. And actually, I went into dietetics as a second degree student. So my first degree was in family and consumer sciences with a design concentration. So I worked with two designers as like a design assistant in like their studios, and I had done a lot of retail. So like I kind of felt like school food service was a little bit of everything I've ever done that I've loved, just because you get to be creative. The retail aspect, it is still like a food retail outlet. So you're thinking about how you're going to merchandise things, how you're going to market things. You're thinking about how it's going to look on the menu, the different colors that you're going to have on the plate. So it was like a little bit of the artistic and the business aspects. And then I was like into nutrition. So it just kind of brought everything full circle for me. And I just found that I enjoyed it, and I never looked back. Never looked back. Because after that, before I did my dietetic internship, I worked as a cook at the Missouri School for the Blind. So a very small school that had residential and day students. And I did that for, I think, a full school year, my final school year before I applied to my dietetic internship. So my last year in school, I worked there for a whole year. And yeah, I never looked back. I really didn't expect for my career to take this path and to move so fast in school nutrition, to be honest. I really didn't.
During this unprecedented time, what have you been most proud of that you've accomplished with your districts?
I think one thing that's been great, or that I've been proud of, I've been proud of my team. I was at Foxy 6 School District in Arnold, Missouri when COVID officially hit, before I made the transition to Riverview. So I've been proud of my team, and I've been proud of the fact that I've been able to work alongside them. So I really got to meet or just refresh my relationships with team members, just because, when you're working in a school district, I was in a school district of 17 schools. You can't be with everybody all the time. And sometimes some schools get more of your attention than others. So it was kind of cool to be able to, work with some team members that I usually don't get to work with, to affirm the work that they're doing on a regular basis when it might be through email or on the fly, but to work with them every day and to see the effort that they're putting forth and how much they really care about the students, and to be able to tell them that face to face every day was really special during this time. So I think that was like one of my proudest moments. Other than that, just taking on the challenge to go to another school district in the middle of a pandemic and not looking back at it, just going with the flow and taking on this huge challenge will probably be a personal, victory for me. So,
yeah. I'm going to ask the hard question now. Can you tell us an overview of your emergency feeding program, like what it looked like and what you're walking into and maybe the differences?
Sure. So at Fox, we did a curbside model, what a lot of other school districts are doing. We pared it down to 3 days a week. So we were serving on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2 sites, at our 2 high school sites, which were our largest kitchens, so that we could do our social distancing and just the preparation that it takes to do to-go meals. You just need a lot of space anyway. So I did those 2 sites. So I have been a part of a curbside model, but at the current school district that I'm in, they decided to do more of a partnership approach. So they partnered with food banks and community organizations like faith-based organizations like churches, and different community partners to do the CARES Act boxes. Well, first, it's my understanding that they donated a lot of their USDA commodities to these organizations to be passed out within the community. They really wanted to make sure that the organizations that they were paired with were actually in the Riverview Gardens School District community. And now it's transitioned to the CARES Act boxes since those have become available. But they took a different approach. From my understanding, they started off with a curbside model, but then sadly, the community that I am serving has been a COVID hotspot. So that was part of the decision to do a different feeding model, to remove the risk from the team. So they decided to go that route instead. So it's been different. It's been hands off for me. I mean, we're kind of providing the food storage space to these organizations, since we have, the warehouse space that can be very challenging for us and for these organizations. But since they're bringing the food to us, we are helping them with some of the storage aspects.
Yeah, and then I'm curious, what's that going to look like as you move forward? And has your district decided on any learning programs or?
I am curious too. I am very concerned about what the fatigue will look like of the team. They've been out of practice for a while, which I don't know if that's good or bad. So they've had some rest time. But I mean, I'm happy that I've had both experiences of the curbside and then now the partnership aspect. So I feel prepared to lead them. I have ideas, I've experienced it. So supposedly right now, it seems like we're going for a hybrid or a blended style schedule. I'm very nervous about losing kids in this type of schedule of, if they're not at school that day, how will they get meals? These are the things I'm still trying to figure out. I just really hate that, this process might still mean that there are going to be some children who are going to miss meals. And that really makes me sad. That's really hard to figure out how we're going to work through that with that type of schedule.
That's such a big unknown and such a big variable.
Yeah.
What is the difference between your ADP and free and reduced lunch percentages between the 2 districts?
night and day. So at Fox, we had about a 50% ADP, and our friend reduced was about 28%. So I'm transitioning to a CEP district, which thank you very much. I'm very happy about that, for a lot of reasons, but obviously that, children are getting meals no matter what.
Yeah.
There's no stigma associated to it. I don't have to worry about free and reduced applications or, that private information going out. So yeah, night and day, this is very different.
That's cool. That's cool to hear. And what's the difference in location? Sorry, I don't know where the districts are located, where, geographically.
Okay, so Fox is about 20 minutes south of St. Louis. So it is somewhat rural. It's a newer community, in the aspect that I guess it has newer subdivisions. So it's a newly developed
Yeah. Okay.
part of Missouri, right outside of St. Louis, whereas Riverview Gardens is St. Louis County. So it's about maybe 40 minutes north of my former district. I'm kind of in the center. So my commute has been 25 minutes either way, south or north. But with it being CEP, obviously, the current district that I'm in at Riverview, it is a food desert. The students do face food insecurity, obviously, since I'm feeding everybody meals, breakfast, and lunch. It's an older community. It's, like, to put it in perspective, since the famous, sad news story of Michael Brown, this community is adjacent to that community. That might give you a little bit more of an idea of where the community is located.
Yeah. Well, thanks for situating me. So I'd love to hear, as a transitioning food service director, what your experience is in that transition, especially during COVID, but you don't have to include COVID in there if you don't want to.
It's been, I feel like it's been kind of uneventful, which I think is a good thing, probably. Everybody in my new district has been really welcoming. So I feel really comfortable where I am right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just been tough with COVID anyway. It's like some days working from home, but I'm really happy that I've had that opportunity, that people are really taking, the guidelines seriously. So I think, for a while there, I probably felt like, what am I doing? I kind of felt a little disoriented.
Yeah.
But right now, I really started like July 1. So I'm still in the transition period. Some things have just taken a little bit longer than expected to maybe set up. I have been fortunate that the former director who retired, we did have time together. So that was really nice to have her guidance, as I took on this new position. So I think my transition has been okay. It's been
nice. Good. Yeah. As an accomplished and experienced Black woman in school nutrition, how are you handling the current national and global circumstances surrounding race, racial justice, and equity? You can talk about that personally, professionally, whatever you think, but like, how is it affecting you? How is it affecting your work? Is it affecting your work?
I don't really feel like it's affecting my work. I feel like, personally, I feel like it's opened up a lot of communication around friends or dietitians or professionals, or just friendships that aren't professional. Just the conversation about race, about the injustices of Black people and people of color. So that's been refreshing. People who have never asked me questions or talked to me about these subjects before have asked for my opinion. which has been kind of interesting because in some ways I'm kind of shocked that for some people this seems to be something new. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know if it was just like the world stopped with the pandemic, but it's been very interesting. And I don't know if they don't, I don't even know how to say it, if they don't know, but yeah, it's just brought a lot to light, and it's just been very, very interesting. What's kind of interesting about my transition right now is that the new district that I'm in, which is really exciting, is that I see a lot of people of color, Black people who are in administrative roles. So that has been a huge, I guess, sense of support for me, transitioning to this new district. I think people are aware and they're taking things into consideration for our students that at previous districts, maybe cultural aspects have not been addressed or have not really been looked at. So I think that that's really exciting for me, transitioning to this new district.
On that note, moving forward, is this or will this change any of the conversations you have surrounding food equity and school food?
I don't really think it's going to change the messaging that I've always used as a professional in school food service. I think food justice, I think it really does start at school. I think it's really one of the first opportunities that students have to learn about food, about where it comes from, and about food deserts and the different challenges that are faced by communities and food access. So I don't think it's really going to change for me. I guess I'm bringing new ideas to the district, just in the fact that the previous food service director, she was there for like 20 years. And, that was just one of the things that attracted me to the district, was that, just from the outside looking in, the information that I was able to glean from the website and just in different conversations, I see that there are new programs that I can implement, different people who I can partner with, different distributors to bring in local foods, just some things that just haven't been happening in the district that I'm really excited to expose the students to. So
That's awesome.
I think that that's going to be the difference
in
the district starting this school year. Yeah.
And what a school year to start with. You spoke about how school food informs a child's understanding of food and eating. How would you position school food in the larger food systems landscape or food justice landscape?
I think it's huge. I'm going to be serving students at least 2/3 of their meals a day.
Right.
So, I think it's a really big opportunity to, teach them about nutrition. Like, one of my favorite experiences was at Rittner School District. I was the dietitian there. And actually, I was a recipient of a Chef Ann Project Produce grant.
Oh, awesome.
So anyway, part of that grant was that I did a lot of taste tests with students and, expose them to different foods. And I kind of tried to use like local Missouri foods to like shape what direction I would do my taste test. So anyway, one day I was at an elementary school and I made like a broccoli apple salad. So I had dietetic interns with me and I'm passing out these samples, and this one student, this young man, I don't know, maybe he was like 3rd or 4th grade, I can't remember. Anyway, he comes up and he's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Broccoli apple salad." He tries it, loves it, sits back down. The kid came back like 7 times. I'm not kidding. Like the dietetic intern was with me and she was like counting like how many times the student came back up, and he just loved it. You know, I never denied a student multiple samples, but like that was just like another moment that just hooked me into school food service, and I just knew I was making a difference,
Yeah.
you know, in a student's health, in their life, in what they were going to take with them nutrition wise through the rest of their life. So yes, I do believe it has a big impact, you know, school food service in the whole food justice landscape. Yes.
Yeah, I that story exemplifies
Yeah.
exactly. Here is a direct example of me feeding somebody who's not had something before, and then them realizing that it's awesome,
Right.
and then they love it.
Right. Right.
Cool. What a cool story.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate in the fall keeping the CARES Act boxes going? Or are you going to, you know, reintroduce your team to cooking operation?
So yeah, so the main goal is to reintroduce us into a cooking operation. I'm working on plan A, B, C, and D of of how to do this. So yes, we will get back into the kitchens and we will provide meals to our students, the meals that they have, you know, come to love, that they expect from school food service.
Totally.
From, you know, I'm sure they have their favorite meals that they've been missing ever since COVID hit and closed everything down. But I do think about continuing a partnership, because I don't know what my school day or week might look like. You know, closures might occur, so I think it's good to have these collaborations in my back pocket.
What of the plans you've made is your top choice, or which ones are you, of the four, which ones are you most hopeful for?
Probably some sort of classroom feeding, maybe social distance cafeteria. I don't know. I'm just really nervous about the amount of team members that I have to work, and, you know, sickness during this time, and just that, you know, there's just not enough time in the day. I mean, my team doesn't have time to cook the food and to distribute it. So I'm really hoping that I get help from, you know, our different building staff to pull this off. So yeah, I'm really nervous about probably the distribution aspect more so than the preparation of the food. That's probably something that's like really, you know, that I have a question in the back of my mind. I'm probably most nervous about closures and the students that are distance learning. I'm very nervous about that aspect, like complete distance learning. I'm very nervous about that. So yeah.
So since you started your remote feeding, what feedback have you received from community?
So at Fox, we had a social media account for our department. So I had some parents who would like post their haul, what they got from us. You know, they would lay it out on the table, or I got a couple of pictures back of students that were actually enjoying their meals, and with parent permission, you know, they let me post them on our social media. And then when we had School Lunch Hero Day, we had some students who like came through the line with their signs in the window. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, it makes it worthwhile. So we got a lot of good feedback and a lot of, you know, appreciative moments from the community.
That's so awesome to hear, and you know, it's so well deserved. I'm so glad to hear that, you know, you did get that awesome feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And as an organization and as individuals, how can we support your work moving forward?
Pick up the school meals. Participate in your school meal program. You know, everybody can participate. You don't have to be a free or reduced meal student. Chef Ann continue to offer the grants and the different funding opportunities and learning opportunities and resources
Yeah.
for our programs. As I've said, I've used them before in the past, and now I'm going to be looking at salad bars. Thank you very much. In the future, whatever that looks like. So, yeah.
You said it best.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we will continue doing that, I promise. And I'm excited for this podcast to go out so that people who are listening can hear that picking up school meals and being engaged in their program is super important.
It is.
And is there anything you'd like the audience to know that we haven't talked about or that you'd like to share?
I don't think so. I love my job. I love my career. I love what I do. I'm really thankful for this opportunity to get my story out.
Yeah.
I hope that this inspires somebody else, especially somebody who looks like me out there.
Yes.
You know, I hope maybe somebody looks at this and reach out to me for a mentorship. I'm really big on mentorship. I want to help people and bring them up alongside me. So I hope that this inspires somebody. And I'm always open for contact or question or collaboration with somebody else. So I hope this inspires them.
Thank you for tuning into another Hero Highlights. If you were inspired by Shannon and would like to reach out for mentorship, please email her at sebron@rgsd.k12.mo.us. Hero Highlights is a program of the Chef Ann Foundation. We carry out our mission by ensuring that school food professionals have the resources, funding, and support they need to provide fresh, healthy, delicious, cooked-from-scratch meals that support the health of children and our planet. The Hero Highlights series is sponsored by Danone North America, who offers a variety of brands that kids and parents love, including Dannon, Silk, Horizon Organic, and many more. The company's mission is to bring healthier food to as many people as possible, and they greatly value their partnership with the Chef Ann Foundation to bring those visions to life within the K-12 food service world. Learn more at DanoneAwayFromHome.com. If you'd like to check out any of our other heroes that we've been fortunate to highlight, please head over to the lunch line at chefannfoundation.org. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.